Hello, Keith Rucker at VintageMachinery.org here, and today we got a little project we're going to be working on, making a new little rest to go on a grinder. So this is a cast iron guard that goes on a grinder. I'm not even sure what kind of grinder this is. This was sent to me for a project we're going to be restoring at the upcoming ArnFest event here in about a week up in Chicago area. And anyway, this is going to be a little group restoration project, and the original one here, this is one side, and it's a piece of cast iron on this side, but it's been broken, it's been welded back together. It's a pretty crappy looking repair. And the other side, this piece is missing altogether. It's the reverse of this. And they've asked me to make two new brackets here, as well as the little guards here that are the rest that goes up to the wheel. So we're going to be doing a little bit of fabrication work today, making these. So originally both of these parts were made out of cast iron, and you know, if I had some more time I would probably recast these, but it's a pretty short order here to get these parts made, so we're just going to fabricate them out of steel. So we're going to start with this little bracket here, and let's get you zoomed in here where you can see it a little bit better. Alright, we're going to start by just measuring this, and this is just a little over an inch thick right there, or inch wide, and I'm just going to use my calipers. I've got this about a 1 inch, about 25 thousandths over an inch, and I'm just going to scribe a line down there, and that'll give me a measurement for that end piece there. The next step here is we'll measure this width, and again that's about 1.750 inches. So we got that on the calipers, and I'm just going to mark it all the way down through there. So now you can see I'm starting to see the area that I need to remove. Alright, so from this edge here out to the end is about 3¼ inches. So we need to double that, and I actually want to make a little bit extra in there. I got to have some room to cut them apart. So double that's going to be 3½. Plus I know I got a little issue with mounting these in my vise. So I'm going to actually cut that at 7 inches, and I'll have a little bit that I'll cut out when it's all said and done. So let's see, let's just mark that. That'll be 6 and 7 right here. Take a square. Mark that, and again we need about 1 inch and 25 thousandths over an inch wide on this end, and I'm just going to make a rough measurement here. This isn't anything critical at this point. Alright, so again that's this one, and then this one here will kind of fold over, be the opposite. And what we need to do now is come in here and notch this area out. And I think I'm going to remove most of that waste from the bandsaw, and then we'll come in there with a mill and clean it all up. So we're over at the bandsaw now, and I got a metal cutting blade in here, and we got the saw slowed down to slow speed, and we're just going to remove the waste in here. I'm going to leave my line, and then we'll mill that down later, get a nice edge. I want to put a little radius in there, so I'm not going to cut this down all the way into the corner. We're going to leave that. We'll come back in after here in a minute and kind of work our way up to there, and we'll come in with an end mill and actually mill that in later. So now I'm just going to kind of come in here at an angle, and we'll cut across one side and then get the other. So now that we got the piece bandsawed out, I'm setting this up over on the vertical milling machine, and we're going to come in here with an end mill and basically just clean this whole surface up on here, get a nice smooth and parallel edge to the front. So it's kind of an awkward piece to work with. Can't really put it in a vise very well the way it is right now. So I've just got it clamped down to the table. I got some parallel blocks up underneath it on the ends to support this. And what I have done here is I've got an indicator set up on here, and I'm just running off of this edge to get it straight. And right now it's running within about 0.02 over there, the total, and that's probably as good as I'm going to get. What happens is when you start here at 0, you go in, and in the middle it drops down to about 2, and then it comes back out to about 0 on the end. And I think of what's happened here is when we bandsaw this section out, we relieved some stress in this piece. So it's got about a 0.02 belly here in the middle. For what we're doing with here, it's not going to matter. That's well beyond any tolerance levels that we have on this, so I'm not too worried about that a bit. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and put an end mill in here now and get that inside cleaned up. All right, we're set up with a 5/8 inch end mill, and I'm going to come in here and first just try to nibble out a bunch of this mess from here in this high spot on both sides, and then we'll come in here, touch off on the side, come down, go all the way across here, and then go back up. And I'm just working off the lines. Again, the measurements on here are not super critical, so we're just going to eyeball it according to the lines that we scribed in there. So now that we've got this inside all cleaned up and to its final dimension here, like the original, what I need to do is I need to thin this down a little bit. This is 3/4, and this part here is about a 1/2 inch. So we need to take about a 1/4 inch off of the thickness, but only to this line. From here to over, it needs to be up the entire 3/4 of an inch thick through there. So I've got this big face mill here, and we're going to come in here and just touch off. We'll go over there and we'll just raise the table up. Probably take 2 passes, see how it cuts, maybe 3, but we need to take a 1/4 of an inch off of the thickness there. All right, in the original, you can see that it's milled down about 50 thousandths lower around here. You just got a pad on here. So we're going to come in here and touch off and actually mill that out about 50 thousandths lower as well. And again, I've described a line on here. There's nothing critical about this, so we're just going to do it by eye. Just touch off. We'll call that 0. That's right there on my line I want to end up on. Raise my table up 50 thousandths. And we'll just mill that right out. we'll repeat that on the other side. All right, so now what we need to do is work on cutting a slot down the center here that will be tapered on either side. And to do that, first thing I need to do is find the center of this on the mill. Then we'll mill a slot down and then put the angles in it. But to do that, I got my edge finder in here. I'm going to find the edge of this outside, zero out my DRO, find the edge on this side, and then whatever half of that distance is will be the center. So let's just go ahead and do it. So we come in here, go up against this edge finder, and whenever it scoots over, right there we're on the edge. And just zero everything out there. So come up, go to the other side, do the same thing. Bring it in, touch it. Scoots over 1.5122. So half of that is 0.756. Right there. And I'm going to go ahead and zero that. And that way I'll have it saved on my DRO and can dial back to that if need be. Alright, this groove needs to be cut 7/16 of an inch all the way down the center of this. So I've got a 7/16 inch end mill here. And we'll start eating away at that. First thing we'll do is we'll touch it off. And we'll take about a 50 thousandths pass. All right, we're going to put some coolant on that and continue on here. Because the slots go all the way through here in the middle, and it's the same diameter as the slot we're cutting, what I need to do is I need to drill a couple of holes that I can get all the way down there through. My end mill has a little center in the bottom, so it's not going to plunge down in there without leaving that little center in there. So I've just got a 7/16 inch drill bit here. I put some marks in there where I need to drill the holes. You probably can't see them on camera. But we're just going to go ahead and punch 4 holes, a start and a stop on each one of them. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just punch through on these and get all the way through. And I've got, again, some holes I drilled as kind of guidelines. I'm just touching off on the bottom. Alright, there's 0. I'll plunge down about 50 thousandths again, and that was working pretty good. We'll just continue using that until we get to the depth we want. We're to the point now where I need to cut this angled edge on the back here, and I measured that as 25 degrees, so I've adjusted the nod back on my mill to 25 degrees, and then I double checked that using some standard triangles that I have to measure different degrees off the quill of the mill, and we're right on 25, which is right where we need to be. So now what I want to do is just machine that angle all the way down that back side, and I'm probably just going to flip the part around in the vise and then repeat on the other side rather than having to knot it back the other direction. But I think we're ready to go. Let's fire up. All right, I think we're down to the last little step here on the machining part, other than cutting this in half and maybe doing a little grinding and cleanup. And that's, we got to punch the 2 holes in here that the little table will mount to. And those holes are 15-30 seconds, and I've just got them laid out on there where they need to go. And again, it's not super critical. I just need to get them close, and we'll be good. So, and I'm happy with that. Let's punch it through. So I thought I was through milling, and then I remembered I used a 2-inch stock, and the part is actually 1 7/8 inches. So I need to take 1/8 of an inch off the top of each of these, just real quick here. So this will take me a second. Well, here we go, guys. It's coming right along. This part is pretty much finished. All I need to do now is just zip it off right there on the bandsaw, and we'll have our 2 parts. We'll just cut that in half, and we'll be done with this. Still need to make the little table pieces, but that's going to probably be a project for another day. So we will probably jump on this depending on how things go this week, maybe one other night this week, or I may do it on Saturday, but probably going to let this stand alone as a video by itself. So there you go, guys. There's the two new pieces, the one old piece. I am going to take this home. I'm going to take it on my big grinder, and I'm just going to grind that bevel on there, but I'll do that on my grinder at the house. It's a little bit better for that. And these basically just fit right on top of this piece, and we'll slide in and out with a bolt in there to adjust the table in and out on this piece. So that concludes this video. Again, we're going to make the little table pieces in another video, probably on another little setting out here. I've got to get these done pretty quick, but we'll get them done probably one day later this week. But these have turned out nice. I'm very satisfied with how they look, and that'll make a nice little addition to the one broken one and the one missing one on this grinder we'll be restoring at ArnFest here coming up in about a week. Thanks for watching, guys.